Hello, my people. Good afternoon. This is Ejiro Lucky, and I'm back again with another hot topic to discuss with my colleague, Mrs. Yetunde Bangoshe. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you,
The
Ejiro.
other time there was a little issue, so we're going to continue from where we stopped. And trust me, it's going to be interesting. And while you're watching, don't forget to share this program and invite your friends to watch as well. The topic for today is going to be: is marriage a poverty alleviation scheme?
Part
As
two.
Part two. As we all know, in Nigeria now, even in the world at large, people get married because of what they can gain, either fame, money, or different kinds of reason why people get married, but certainly not love anymore. I can attest to that, especially in this our generation. It's rare to see some people in love and they marry because of love without any selfish reason. Like I said before, now I said that. So, ma, you are married.
Yes.
You're married and you've gone far in marriage and you understand. I'm sure you understand the basics of marriage and everything that has to do with marriage. So I'm going to ask you, in your opinion, what do you think marriage is as a union?
Well, marriage is a union of two people coming together with common ideas, common identity, and a common goal. By identity, I don't mean that a white man cannot marry a black
black
man.
man.
No, that's not what I mean. Is a common identity. Both of them have the same goals they are pursuing. They have a common destination, so to say. That is what marriage is all about. And Ejiro, like we said last week, um, going into marriage, there are some basic things you look at. Your priority determines the end of the marriage.
Okay. Please, can you shed more light on that, ma?
Yes, whatever basis with which you go into marriage will determine the outcome of your marriage. For example, if you're, like I told you, we have three reasons for going into marriage. Three. The first one is companionship.
Companionship.
Unless the foundation of that marriage is built on companionship, and that's why you don't match make. You don't bring two people who don't know each other together. There has to be a relationship, which is called companionship. If you don't find companionship in each other, I mean, why would you go together? For example, a very dirty man goes for a woman who is extra neat. You know that union cannot work. It will get to a state they will both irritate each other. The man will be irritated by unnecessary cleanliness, and she gets irritated by his dirtiness. And then something somehow along the line, there will be a break. Okay. So there has to be companionship. There has to be, the companionship is when both of you have the same thing you are going after. For example, the man could just be a mid-neat man. If the woman is extra neat, yes, they can cope. Not extra dirty, extra neat. Both of you may not cope. So character is still a basis. Can I cope with this?
Okay.
Temperament is a basis.
Okay.
Can I cope with this? Can we stay together? You can stay together, then you go ahead. If you see some things in courtship and what we call dating now, you see something in dating and you think, this thing, I can't tolerate it, please don't go ahead. You don't teach a man to use his left hand in his old age. You don't start training an adult. So you can't marry somebody you cannot tolerate hoping to train him. He's not your child. She's not your child either. So you go in with what you can cope with averagely. Okay. That's what I mean by companionship. And the second one is for love. The love is what comes first with people these days, even though it is professed with the mouth. Because love, it's a very voluminous word, very ambiguous. Love has everything in it. Okay. So the word I love you is not just the word I love you. If you love somebody you don't want, for example,
you have to act on it.
Look at the love between a mother and a child. That's the type that should exist between the husband and the wife, except for the sexual aspect. So if the two of you know that this love thing is just to sleep with each other, to have some erotic affection, then please pull apart. It is not a foundation to build on. Then procreation. There may not be children in the marriage. Would you still remain happy? Because there's companionship, there is love. it can sustain
So
you.
it can sustain it. For how
So
long?
it's not for as long as you remain together. It's not like today when there's no issue, there's no child in the marriage, it becomes an issue because from the onset there has been no companionship. If there's companionship, you can have some people will even go for a woman who cannot give birth, or for a man who has maybe one of these their ailments, oligospermia and all that, who cannot produce a child, and yet they cope together. We've seen couples like that, and they go to adopt, and they live well, even though it is un-African, so to say. We made it un-African, but
But there's nothing wrong in adoption.
yes, there's nothing wrong in adoption, but Africans don't see an adopted child as a child,
Which is a wrong mentality.
which is a wrong mentality. So that's where the love and companionship comes in.
Okay, ma. But in your explanation, I didn't hear anything that relates to finances in the marriage.
Very good,
because
Ejiro.
because in marriage you also need finance to
Yes,
sustain
you do.
a healthy marriage.
You do.
Because most broken marriages now, sometimes finance is a problem. Is a major problem.
Yes, yes.
So in a case like that, since you did not, you think that finance is not a major
No. I didn't say that.
stuff in
Ejiro,
marriage.
don't misquote me.
Because you said companionship,
yes.
you said understanding
I
and
told you-
procreation,
I
but
told
there
you-
is no finance.
I told you that these things are ambiguous. Companionship, there's no romance without finance. It doesn't work.
Thank you.
If there is no money to water marriage, it kills love.
Yes.
That love will die when it gets too long.
So I think that money should come first
no,
before love.
No, Ejiro, no. Money.
I don't know if my viewers agree with me,
Yes.
but money should come first
Now,
before love.
Now, finance still falls under companionship.
Okay.
For example, the woman is like these days, God has favored women a lot. You see that a lot of women are making it now.
Yes.
And there are a lot of men who are still struggling.
Yes.
If both of you think you can cope, it doesn't mean that the man should now become the wife at home. It doesn't mean he should be the one to be doing ewedu, to be doing vegetables for you. Except he chooses to. He still remains the head.
Of course.
If both of you sit down together, that is where companionship comes in. Both of you sit down together. I earn 600,000, you earn 300,000. How do we make it work? If both of you can understand each other in companionship, then you can cope. But if you cannot, for example, the one with 300 is very stingy. I mean, the burden will be too much on the one with 600. And it becomes an issue. It becomes a problem.
Okay.
So if the two of you can agree, oh, this man is not stingy, he's a generous man. Oh, yeah, this is my salary, 300,000. You bring your salary. What do we need at home? We analyze, okay, you can have this, I can have this as pocket money. I mean, if there's going to be understanding, it still comes back to companionship.
Yes.
Finance is
Okay.
part of companionship.
Okay.
Understanding.
Okay. Now I'm going to go further to ask you a question, ma. People that marry for fame, for money, and other things before love. Do you think they are wrong? Those are wrong reasons for marrying somebody for fame,
No, they are
for
not.
money and all that.
Ejiro, these things are not wrong.
So
you know,
it's actually a good reason to
no,
marry
no,
someone.
they are not wrong, and they are not good either. Now let me tell
Okay.
you why. Do you know that for every research, no research is absolute. If they tell you that in Nigeria there are 500,000 all children in Nigeria are out of school, it's not true. Some of them will still be in school. There is always an exception of 1%. That
Okay.
is to say that out of the large number, you know, research, the what you observe is on a large number of people. That is why oftentimes you come out with a database, you come out with an analysis based on numbers. For example, you have 20 people, 20 married for fame, 20 married for companionship. At the end of 5 years, bring the 40 together. You will discover that of these 20, you could still have 18 together.
Okay.
And of these 20, you are likely to have like 2 only together who are enduring each other
Okay.
in marriage. That is why people say, that is the essence of saying, do not use money as a basis.
Okay.
I've given you an example of finance and companionship.
Okay.
The woman may be the one earning. I have seen a lot of homes like that survive.
Yes, I've seen.
I've seen a lot of it, and it is not an endured marriage. Both of them enjoyed it. As long as there is money, do you know what brings crisis in marriage? When there's no money for provision. It doesn't matter where it comes from. That is where companionship comes in. It doesn't matter
How
where
can
it
you?
comes from.
Okay, what if the man doesn't have the money? There's no money in this marriage right now. So would you tell me that companionship is not is going to just affection and all that is going to
No,
sustain?
no, 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 no,
There
no,
is
no.
no
I
money.
have
So
told
that
you.
so
I
money
have,
money being that there's no money in the marriage, money cannot come
no,
into
no.
companionship.
I have told you that. I have told you that. In the issue of companionship, everything is encapsulated.
Okay.
Everything. Companionship comprises of all things. The two of you will sit together. Okay, without money, can we both cope? If you can cope, go ahead. Into marriage.
Okay. So now you're saying that marrying for money is a wrong reason and is not a wrong reason.
Yes, it is a wrong reason.
But you have not given us a definite answer why it is a wrong reason and why it is
yes,
a right
now
reason.
I said it is a. I told you that if you put down two research teams, 20 here, 20 here, I've told you that is why it is a wrong reason, because the larger percentage fall out later. A larger percentage of those.
There's this popular saying that says it's better to cry in a yacht in Dubai than to cry in Yaba left on a bike.
Yes, oftentimes because there's no money, you are likely to cry in Yaba left. But when there's money, even in the yacht, you can still have mental torture. Do you know that?
Yes, you
a
can.
lot of rich marriages are going through mental torture.
Okay.
There is no emotional connection. They are disconnected in all areas.
Okay, what in a case whereby I intentionally see a rich man and I intentionally fall in love with him, intentionally I build companionship with him, and other things falls in place because I know I'm aware he's rich and is the kind of man I want to settle, and I do it intentionally.
That is where companionship comes from. And now let me tell you something you have failed to realize. That is the fact that you can only pretend for a while.
No, I'm not going to be pretending. I'm going to genuinely fall in love with him.
Yes, I'm not saying you can't genuinely fall in love, Ejiro. What brings you in love are things that you desire. If you find something you don't desire in the man, for example, I personally hate men that snore. I now go and marry and live my life with a snoring man because he's rich.
If he has money,
it can be
a sweet lullaby.
That's
if
for
he has
you.
Money.
That's for you. A lullaby. I cannot sleep. I will leave it means I will go mental in that marriage.
Yes.
By the time you look, no matter the kind of riches he has, I cannot cope.
Yes.
The very first time I notice you snore, you collapse my emotions outrightly. Not because of anything, because I know I need my mental health to live long. And for me to have a good mental health, I must have a good sleep. And I'm not too good at catching sleep. A lot of times, I need real lullaby to catch sleep. So if after catching the sleep, I now hear somebody change a gear somewhere, and then I wake up, that is how I will remain all through the night. For how long will I do that? And I will not become mentally ill. That is where companionship comes in. The man can be rich. You can deliberately fall in love. But there could be something that you cannot tolerate. That you have. Why is it that a lot of comfortable homes today, you see ladies carrying young guys and making them gigolos? Why? Because there's something missing in that marriage. They deliberately fell in love, but something got missing along the line. So somehow you can choose to work on yourself, to act like you are not, because you want to enjoy something. But after a while, the action will fade off. The reality will dawn on you.
But it's not in every case though, because let's go back in time. Before I was born, I've read stories, I've read histories whereby parents give out their children who are like 13, 14, even 12, out in marriage for older men. Because of what they have, the chiefs of the town, they had money, they had good farmlands and all that. They give them out for marriage, and they don't want their daughter to rally around with the village boys and all that. So I think this marrying for money and marrying for fame has been
has been in our fathers' days. In fact, in Yoruba culture, if you are owing a man, you can hand over your child to the man for marriage, for the payment of the money you are owing him. In my growing years in the north, at a time I was very, very young, there used to be an Alhaji that comes to our house. He brings anything. He brings a lot of things. He goes to Mecca. He brings jewelries for me. As young as I was around 8 years. And my mother, understanding the culture of a typical Hausa man, refused to collect anything from the man. And one day I asked her, this man will bring gold for us. We are not rich now, we are suffering. Why are you not collecting this? And he said, the idiot wants to marry you. And that is how they keep paying gradually, and then they come for you maybe when you are around 15. That what will she be looking at? That she will marry me out at that age. That stayed in my brain for so many years. I was careful with the kind of friends I keep with a typical northerner, because it was a culture they imbibe. If my mother was a careless person, she would collect those things, and today I'll be trapped, and I would never have known what love is.
But you know that even, but there's kind of, if, how do I put it now? If maybe, let's say maybe, if you had married this person they're talking about, you might actually have had a good marriage as
I
well.
won't have, I know. I would never have had a
Because
good marriage.
there are some
as
persons,
number 6.
No.
What good marriage do I want to have in number 6?
In this our recent age now, you see younger girls marrying older billionaires, millionaires, of which some are even
Did
popular.
they tell you that?
But then again, their marriage is still there. Their marriage is still standing.
But
While
they
the
are
one,
gigolo.
while the ones who married for love, even the ones who married for love, when the man if the man has none, they just marry because they love the man. They still go out to cheat.
Now,
And those ones, some of them, their
Eju,
marriages are not even sustained.
no research is absolute. Every research is based on numbers. I've given you an analysis. We have 20 here, 20 here. 18 survived here, 18 did never do well. So there is no absolute anything. Everything we are talking about is based on the number, experience, what we have seen, how it has been going. Our fathers, our forefathers did it. It didn't work out. They had to